Welcome back, my fellow patriots, to the Save Our Republic daily video series. We're going to take a step back from the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution today and talk about something fundamental to the human condition, which I believe is also fundamentally important in a destructive way to where we are as a country. Pride. Now, this is an ancient sin that many theologians and others believe is the worst of all the sins, because things like gluttony and greed and all those kinds of things, lust, they're really just manifestations of this idea of pride. I don't want to take a deep dive into the Bible or into the Judeo-Christian perspective. Instead, this is to be something that should be universally understood. Even if you don't believe in a higher being, or you don't believe in the Christian God or Jewish God, that's all fine. The idea, though, is that as people, we do have certain defects. And one of them is an excessive belief in your own authority, power, worth, whatever it might be. And the opposite of that is humility, and that is to understand that you're not the end-all and be-all of the world, and that you can make mistakes, and that you can learn from others, be accountable for your own actions. Don't be arrogant. Don't attempt to foist your views in the sense of that you're always right and you can never be wrong. And pride is often a magnification of perhaps doing something that is worthy, but then elevating it to such a point that it really detracts from the worthy things that you have done. And if you look at our history, many of the founding fathers certainly had streaks of pride in it, but many did not. And they really were humble and really were putting the welfare of the country ahead of their own welfare. They made sacrifices. They respected others. They engaged in respectful dialogue. It was not, my way or the highway. And we kind of lose all those nuances in the course of retrospection of a couple of centuries and a few decades added on top of that. But look around our culture today, and I'm not just talking about our political culture, I'm talking about the broader culture. And this really has been magnified, I believe, in part by the medium I'm using today, which is YouTube, but also by the social media in general. Twitter, when you only get 280 characters to express your view, Facebook, LinkedIn, all this kind of chatter that rewards outlandish behavior, that rewards pride in telling people that I'm right, you're wrong, and that really has created all the wrong incentives in our society. So instead of reaching across the aisle, and I don't mean just in a political sense, I mean with friendships, with your neighborhood, with your local schools, with whoever it might be, your congregation for worship, businesses, whatever it might be, that instead of rewarding cooperation, humility, mutual understanding, mutual respect, understanding that each person has a divine spark that needs to be respected and that people can make mistakes and learn from them, and then be able to improve themselves and improve the lives of their family and their friends and the broader society, that we have created such towers of silos of independence rooted in this idea that they are the person who's in the silo, the fortress, they are right and they're going to conquer the other side. That is a recipe for the dissolution and unraveling of a society and civil war. And if you don't think that that is correct, I just ask that you look at the history books, um, and it's corrosive in really two ways, not just to the broader society, but to your own self, your own soul. When you believe that you are better than everyone else, and you have arrogance, and then now, because everyone has the ability to publish and get their viewpoints out, that they simply refuse to take into consideration the arguments of others, and we see that polarization. We're at large in Congress and in the political realm, in different legislatures, etc. But we also see it in the cultural realm, in business, and so many other aspects. So this is a plea to take a step back, take a deep breath, consider that there are many perspectives that should be taken into consideration, and then figure out what makes sense, and certainly advocate and fight for what you believe is right, but do it in a way that is civil, that respects the rights of others, and tries to have some empathy, put your feet in the shoes of others. And there's a lot of ways that we can do this, but really start at home and expand it outward. And hopefully we will have a better society if people move forward in that way. Until next time, don't forget about America's Survival Guide at americasurvivalguide.com, Patriot Week at patriotweek.org, the Patriot Lessons American History and Civics podcast. God bless you, and God bless America.